Hi, welcome back to the channel. So today I think I'm gonna title this Broke People Can't Make You Money. Yeah, broke people can't make you money. So let me tell you why I want to talk about this. So I kind of mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on this platform, I think it is, but I lost somebody very dear to me. So I've been kind of like low key mourning, and I just shut off all of my social media, right? Because I don't know, I just needed a break. People don't realize it, but a lot of people send me stuff. I get a lot of memes. I mean, I could probably start a channel with just all the memes that people send me. And I know it's in good intentions, but I got a particular meme and it kind of triggered something inside of me because it talked about money and making money. And it just made me think, how you gonna send me a meme on how to make money when you don't have money, right? So it's that theme. A broke person can't make you rich because why are you broke? That part. And I know it sounds a little mean, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to hear the truth, and the truth is not going to always be pleasant, right? But it goes across the board. It just doesn't deal with money. It deals with health, right? So, for instance, how you gonna tell me how to be healthy and you don't look healthy? Ooh, did I say that out loud? That part. I mean, me personally, I love Lizzo. Love Lizzo, right? But when she used to talk about how healthy she was, I low key looked at her sideways because I know there was this trainer, I forgot her name, but she was on one of those like weight shows and she kind of like went in, but she did it in a really kind of mean way. Kind of low key was shady. But just because you skinny don't mean you healthy. And just because you are kind of like fit looking doesn't mean you're healthy either. You know what I'm saying? But I know for sure if you're holding on to extra pounds, that's not good for your body because your organs need to move. It needs to function. And how can it function when it's being squeezed? It's just like when someone's choking you, you can't breathe. Well, if you have a lot of fat, then your organs are being kind of low key choked. If you look at it like that, right? But it goes, I mean, it's so many things. You sending stuff about love, but you don't love yourself. And you're like, how you know they don't love themselves? Because you sending me hella memes. That's how I know you don't love yourself. I feel like sometimes people do stuff in good intentions, but it's almost like they're deflecting. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, believe me, I've seen so many how to start a business, how to do this, how to do that, and I've actually tried them. They didn't work. They did not work. I feel like your word is bond. I don't know if I ever shared this story with you, but I remember a friend of I had money, right? I had some extra money and I was telling a friend, I was like, "Oh, I got this extra money. I would love to invest it." And she said, "Oh, I know somebody who does day trading and they could take your money and flip it for you." And I was like, "What?" Like that is good. Okay, so this is I can't pronounce it. I think it's Silel. And it's this powder, right? And it's a mineral powder. Cause I've been getting super oily, which is kind of good because my skin been moist. But then it gets to the point where it's like super, super moist. So this kind of like takes some of the oil, just kind of like soak it up. Anyway, I digress. So she was telling me about the money, right? And so, I mean, I was telling her about the money. So she introduced me to the dude. So I gave him, it was a very small amount. It was like $1,500. So I gave him the money. And I'm thinking, oh, everything is cool, right? And he was telling me, oh, yeah, you made $200. Like within 2 weeks, he was like, oh, you made $200. I was like, whoa, like this is best interest ever, right? So then, I think I was gonna go on vacation or something, and I said, "Oh, well, instead of me using my money, let me just take money from, the fund, whatever that he was using." So I figured, well, he's gonna make me more money. And so when I asked him if I could take some money from the money that he had taken from me, he was like, "Oh, sure, no problem. Give me a day." I'm like, "Okay." I figure, you gotta switch up around. So then nothing. So then I reached back out to him and he's like, "Oh, something happened. Let me get back to you." I said, "Okay." Third time, nothing. He didn't say nothing. I couldn't get in touch with him. I'm thinking, what the hey? Right? So I went to my friend and I told my friend what happened. I was like, "Hey, have you ever had that situation happen? Like, has he ever, like, ghosted you?" Or, and she goes, "Oh, I don't know. I've never given him money." So you recommended this dude to mess with my money, but you've never dealt with him like that? That's what I'm saying. Like, people will just give you stuff without even researching it or anything. There was a situation yesterday, right? And I made a comment. I was on somebody's live and they said, "That's not true. If it's one thing about me, I do my research." So I didn't even respond because first of all, I know it is true. And two, you don't even know. A lot of times people will just take what other people say for granted. Now, if there is a loan out there that's giving people loans to start businesses and you want to start a business, why don't you have a business? Right? Like, make it make sense. If you are, and that's another thing too, like, people need to be realistic when it comes to health, right? You can't just always listen to people and just think like, oh, they're a health guru, I'm gonna listen 100%. Even myself, when people ask me stuff, I always say make sure you check with a doctor, or it might not work for you. What works for you don't work for me. Let me tell you something. I've been doing intermittent fasting, and I would stand up, but I don't have no pants on. But I have lost a lot of weight. A lot of weight. And it's not just weight, but it's like you can see it in my body. My body. Because I feel like if you, not only should you feel good, but you should look good. It's like a package. And I feel like when you look good and feel good, it just all comes together. You know, I remember my aunt, she was, oh, hold on, back. All right. So I just wanted to share, like, one time I asked my aunt, I was like, "How do you get all this stuff?" Like, she was just really like balling out of control, right? And I was just like, how is this all happening to you? And she told me, she was like, "God," and I was like, "What?" It's about having faith. It's about having faith. I say, trust no one. Don't even trust me. I mean, trust me because I don't have nothing, I don't have an ulterior motive. But, I mean, if I tell you something, look it up. I remember this guy, he was trying to sell me. It was this guy, he was in front of the store. And he he was trying to sell me this candy, and I was like, "Oh no, thank you. I'll make a donation." So I gave him the money instead of getting the candy, and he was like, "Oh no, this is vegan," because I told him I'm vegan. He's like, "Oh no, this is vegan," and I said, "Actually, it's not vegan." And then he said, "Why?" I said, "Because it has red dye in it, and red dye, it has, I think it's called Corinne or something, or cream or something like that. I forgot." But basically it's beetles, like dead beetles. And it's yeah, gross. And he was like, "No way, I've been eating bugs." I'm like, "Yeah." Now, if you say red dye is not good for you anyway. Any kind of dye, like nat dye, is not good for you anyway. But this particular thing has like red beetles in it. Dang, I forgot what it's called. Alexa, what is that dye, that red dye that has beetles in it, like bugs?
From Terminix.com. Female cochineal beetles, Dactylopius caucus, eat red cactus berries and are used to make the most common natural red dye. If you'd like, I can kickstart your brain in the morning with amazing facts and news. Would you like to enable this routine?
No.
No problem.
That's what it's called. So that's crazy. That's crazy. You eating beetles. Crazy. But anyway, go back. I totally just went off a script. But yes, don't let broke people give you advice. And when I say broke, I don't necessarily mean broke like monetary, but just broke period. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many different, like it could be your mental attitude could be broke, you know, kind of things like that. So like say if you're like in a relationship and someone who is, you know, low key kind of questionable telling you like, "Oh, I wouldn't put up with that." Well, you don't have to. I was talking to my girlfriend and she was having some situations with her boyfriend and I'm just quiet. And she was surprised that I didn't say anything because everybody has an opinion. I feel like this. If you like it, I love it. It's your life, live it. Right? All right. So I hope you enjoyed this little rant. But yeah, do your research and have some discernment when it comes to stuff. Don't always jump on the first thing that comes along. Don't always like be on a bandwagon and ask questions. That's the takeaway from this. Ask questions, right? So you're not out here looking stupid or even become broke yourself. All right. So until next time, I want you to have an amazing day. And if no one's told you today that they love you, I love you. Bye.